Working at the swim meet once the meet has begun is a task that is shared equally between the two teams, usually with one team going ahead and inputting the entries for an entire block of events, for example, the medley relays, then the other team stepping in to do the next block of events, say the freestyle events. This allows the workload to be shared and avoids having one team being saddled with sitting at the computer the entire time. Teams are able to share the workload in any way that they seem fit, and if one team's comfortable with doing the entire meet, that's fine. What should happen though is the two operators from each team should work together and help each other. The person that is not operating the computer during the meet, during a particular stretch, should help coordinate the paperwork, keep things organized and in order, and again, keep their eyes on things like situations where the judges and the timers may disagree to avoid that being incorrectly input into the system. Ideally, teams ought to set up their meets and their computer equipment away from the crowd as best they can without being so far away that it's not practical for the meet workers to get the paperwork to the timers. However, again, if you've got a nice either a tent or a clubhouse to be in, it makes it a little bit easier to work with, because if you're in the mass of crowds, you'll have more people staring over your shoulder than you can imagine, constantly asking you, what did Billy do in the freestyle? What place did Susie get in the backstroke? What's the score? So again, to make your job a little bit easier, ideally you ought to set up in an area that's kind of away from the crowd, but still close enough to where the paperwork can get to you in a timely order. Throughout the meet, again, teams should periodically back up the database to an external device like a flash drive to make sure if you have a computer crash or anything that you've got a backup that can easily transfer the information to another computer. Once the meet starts, again, you'll be in the Run menu. Go to Run and select the event that you want to work on in particular. So I'm going to go down here, let's go to, I'm going to do event 9, 13, 14 girls. In this case, it's a freestyle relay in this database. To input the times, it's very simple. Type the actual time, no punctuations needed. 2:33, 44, and either hit enter to move to the next box. You can use the cursor key, the arrow key, or use the mouse to click to the next box. Notice that every time a time is input, the HPL and PL columns automatically fill in based on what the times are. Notice if there's a tie, it actually assigns a tie. HPL is the heat place, PL is the overall placement. Again, the times are input in the finals time column. If, say for example, a team is entered in a particular lane and they do not show up, you cannot leave that box blank, and NS has to go in for no swimmer. Once every event has a time for every heat, and again notice we've just got one heat in this event, notice the status up here goes to a gray box that says done. What that means is all the times in for that particular event, however the event has not been scored yet. Once all of the times are into the system and you're confident you've got everything done, including if you have any disqualifications, say for example we had a disqualification in lane 3. To disqualify a swimmer, click on the DQ box, and you can include the reason for the disqualification under DQ code by clicking on that box and selecting, say for example, the second swimmer false started. That will include that in the meet report. Once you have all the times, disqualifications, and other pertinent information in for an event, you go to score the event, which will assign scores to the particular event and generate the results report, which will look like this. Notice the disqualification, and notice our tie up here. And notice it's assigned the points. And if there's a tie, High-Tech does the math on splitting the points up. While it's tedious, it's ideal to go ahead and print the results, at least one copy for each event, to have a good solid paper trail in the event something has to be reviewed. Once a report's been generated, you click the print icon and go through the steps to print that item. Once you're done inputting that event, notice the status has gone to scored. We move on to the next event and input the times.